Hi everyone, this is Rad Pukadin and welcome to this another exciting video. This video is about F geometry, which is a powerful topic in mathematics. Many of us have challenges when it comes to the understanding of what is a latitude and what is a longitude. It is because of that, then we deem Earth geometry to be very difficult because we may not understand such kind of the concept. So the concept of what is a latitude, the concept of what is a longitude. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through from the past paper question that came in 2017 Mathematics GCE paper 1. So if you're watching for the first time, I encourage you to support me through liking this video, following this Facebook page, as well as share this video to other friends or families or relatives or anyone whom you think this video is going to help them. So without much further ado, this is a question that came from 2017 Mathematics Paper 1 GCE. So we are going to solve that. Particularly, this is going to deal with time calculation when it comes to F geometry. So it is very important for us to understand how do we calculate time given 2 points on the F surface. So let us see how you can be able to do that. Okay, so this is a question, okay? So the question reads, a soccer match kicked off at 14 hours at point A, which is 20 degrees north, okay? So you can read from there, okay? 20 degrees north and 30 degrees east. What would be the kick-off time of the soccer match at this point, which is 20 degrees north, 15 degrees west? Now, one of the most important things when it comes to time calculation is that you don't have to consider the other part of the positioning, which is the latitude, okay? You always consider the longitude when it comes to time, okay? So the most important thing is, time, we are looking at, you consider the longitude. So you only have to consider the longitudes when it comes to time in F geometry, okay, under time calculation. So you don't have to consider the latitude, which is north or even south. All you have to consider is just the longitude part of that particular point that you're given on the F surface, which is either the east part of that particular point as well as also the western part of that particular point. So, having said that, then we have to understand that we have the mathematical concept that the Earth actually revolves or actually moves around the sun, okay? Now, because of that concept, then as the Earth now is rotating, okay, it is making angles, okay, with respect to time, okay? Now, this concept has got a unitary, measurement, okay? You can call it a unitary measurement. Of course, not unitary, but that makes sense. So what that means is that we have an establishment, okay, that how many hours, okay, does the Earth makes when it revolves or moves or makes a particular angle, okay? How many hours does the Earth cover in maybe 15 degrees, in 30 degrees, and so on and so forth. So you kind of need to have that kind of a concept, okay? So this implies that each time, okay, every after 1 hour, okay, the Earth, okay, so this is the most powerful concept that you have to understand. Every after an hour, okay, the Earth makes 15 degrees of that part of the rotation, okay? So if I don't know this information, it becomes very difficult for me to kind of decipher, to kind of just understand where I can start from when it comes to answering questions pertaining to time calculation and geometry. Okay. So now, after that, then you have to go to the points. Okay. Now, I want you to understand, to remember that we said when it comes to earth geometry, all you have to consider is just the longitude part of that given to position A and B. So each position, each point has got a longitude, and the other point has got a longitude. Okay. And when you look at this one, okay, so the longitude is 30, okay, and also this part is 15. Now, when you have 2 points on the surface of the earth, okay, the other one is on the eastern part, for example, the other one is on the western part. So you kind of add them together to find, okay, to find the total combined angle. Okay, so what you're going to do is now we are going to call it alpha. Okay, it's going to be, so this is 30 plus, so we are going to say 30 plus 15, okay, and this is going to give you 45 degrees. Now remember, we are not the east or west doesn't mathematically implies the units. Okay, doesn't imply that. What it just tells you is which part of the location, okay, is that point lying. So eastern part or western part, and so on. So that is the only thing that you have to understand. Okay. Now from there, if we know that every hour, okay, every hour that passes by, okay, that elapses by, the earth kind of moves or makes 15 degrees of that angle, or it turns 15 degrees, okay, every after an hour. So now, what about in 45 degrees, of angle? How many hours does the earth curves? So this is a simple proportional mathematics, okay? So now we're going to say in 1 hour, okay, the earth moves. So in 1 hour, the earth moves 15 degrees. Now, what about in 45 degrees? Okay, 45 degrees. So in 45 degrees, we can now cross multiply, okay, 15 by x, we're going to have 15x, and then 1 by 45, you're going to have 45, okay, and this is going to be, so x multiplied by 15, that is 15x, equals 45, okay. So you have done basic equations, basic mathematics, so it's just a matter of looking for x, okay. So you kind of divide both sides of the equation 15, 15. Okay, so this goes, this goes. Okay, so now because of that space, now I'm going to say now x is equal to, now 15 there it is 1, 15 there it is just 3, okay. So we have now, so now in 45 degrees, in this instance, now the earth is going to make, is going to move, or it's going to cover about 3 hours of time in 45 degrees. Okay, so I hope you get the concept of how we have come to 3 hours of that time. So then, what I want you to understand that when it comes to time, okay, I'm sure if you've got a friend in China, USA, France, or German, or even London, Russia, and so on, if you are talking to them on phone, okay, what that means is that you are actually located on different points on the real world of the Earth's surface. So the implication is that there is also a time difference, okay? As long as you are on different points on the surface of the earth, you are also looking at different time scale. So when I call somebody who's in China, like for example, at this moment of time, okay, if I ask them what time it is in China or anywhere in this world, they're going to say maybe it is 12 hours, or maybe they're going to tell me to say, no, here in China, it is 15 hours. So that kind of a time difference is due to the location of that particular country or town, or in general, the differences in the location of that position you're looking at, yeah, for example. So what this means is that you have to kind of understand what is the position there and what is my position in terms of the longitude. So if I get to understand the position in terms of longitudes, what I'm going to do is that because we're in different points, okay, I'm going to add now, okay, looking at this point, because they're saying that what would be the time kickoff of the soccer match at this point. So we are looking at point B. We want to find the time if at point A the time is 14 hours. Now, because this one is on the eastern part of the Earth's surface, and this one is on the western part. So remember, if I'm on the eastern part, time increases, okay? And if I'm on the western part of that particular location, then I'm going to be behind time, okay? And this is the reason why you have seen that most of the people will kind of be celebrating the Christmas, even maybe some of them will be earlier, okay? They will be celebrating earlier before you, maybe like 2 days before you are celebrating the Christmas. That is just an example. So we have now the 3 hours. Now, in Earth geometry, this is about time, okay? So in Earth geometry, this time we have to format the time to human readable time format, okay? Because if the time is 3 hours, that is like the difference of how much time it takes for the Earth to cover 45 degrees of an angle. Okay, it is just 3 hours. Now I have to format this in human form or human readable timestamp. Okay, and this is going to be my x is going to be 0, 3. Okay, it's going to be 03 hours. Okay, so when you say it is 03, somebody is going to understand, oh, it's not yet actually, 06, or it's not yet 04. So you kind of understand that this is too early in the morning, okay? So we have formatted this in a human readable form, and this is what we needed to understand. Now, after we format that, now you are going to ask yourself, I'm looking for the time at the position which is B now, and okay, at the position B, and B is on the western part. So I want to find out when should the soccer match, okay, start, when I'm at this position, okay, 15 degrees west on the Earth's surface, or whatever I'm trying to consider this kind of calculation. And I said that if your location is on the western part or the western hemisphere of the Earth, then what you must do is to ensure that whatever time you are given, okay, you subtract, okay, you subtract the time that we just found, okay, which is 03. Okay, so we are given that the match is starting at 14 hours, and then what could be the time the match could start at this point. So because whoever is at this point is behind with 3 hours, okay? So that makes sense. So we always subtract time. We always do the subtraction when you're looking for the time on position or location that are on the eastern part of the 8th. If it was eastern, I mean that are on the western part of the 8th. But if it was on the western, I mean on the eastern part, we would have actually added 3 hours, because it simply means that they are ahead of us by 3 hours. Okay. So therefore, okay. So now. So we are going to say kick off. So the kickoff time is, so we are going to say, so we have been given that 14 hours, okay? So you're watching the football at 14 hours, okay? And now you want to find out, maybe your friend who is at position B, western part of the Earth's surface. When will that person watch the football? So this is what we are just doing. So we are going to say minus, okay, 0.3. Okay. So if you remember very well that our time difference was 0.3 hours. So we are looking at the time on western part of that position. So if the point is on the western part of the Earth's surface, what that means is they are behind with that time difference. So we have to subtract from the given time our friend they are watching the football, so that we can also know when we can expect to watch the live match. And this is always the case when you're watching our Zambian football national team, when they are playing. Maybe they are in Togo, in Senegal, in Cameroon, and anywhere in this world. So we always ask the point, at what time will the match be broadcasted, or will be broadcast? Okay, so you say 1 minus 0, this is just 1. 4 minus 3, this is 1. Okay, and then we have 10. So this now we can conclude to say that the time, the soccer match will be, the kickoff time of this soccer match at position B, which is 15 degrees west, is just 11 hours. Okay, so meaning these people, they are going to watch the match before us we could watch the match. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is a White Academy, and this is a Professor Wadamai. If you like our video, please remember to support us by liking our page, following us, following this page, as well as sharing our video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. It's bye-bye.